All right, Brandon. Obviously, a tough day for Tiger fans. I can only imagine the grief that former Tiger players and people within the organization must be feeling at this point. What did Al Kaline mean to you?
Sure. Me, alongside most of that '06 team and a lot of those other guys, he was a huge part of everything that we did there. God, it's terrible, man. I'm still in shock over it, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, he would come in the clubhouse. He would sit there every day that we got there. He'd be in the clubhouse waiting for us. And he wouldn't force his knowledge on you. And obviously, he had more knowledge than anyone else, but he'd sit there and wait for you to come by and just talk to him. The amount of wisdom that he imparted in all of us, I'd have to be quite honest and say that he was a huge part. Leland also, but he was a huge part of what took us, to the World Series that year. I mean, that guy was in our clubhouse, in our lives every single day, man. He was awesome, awesome guy. We're gonna miss him.
I know he was a guy that took some warming up to. I remember when I got to the market back here in 2014. He kind of looked at like, all right, who's the new guy? And over time, was he the same with players? Did you guys have to talk to one another and rookies that would come in or new players and be like, yo, Mr. Baseball, Mr. Tiger over here, he's going to like you. You just got to kind of wait for it.
He was old school, man. That's why we loved him. He was one of those guys that you were going to have to earn his respect before you could just walk up and talk to Mr. Kaline. And we all appreciated that because nothing in the baseball world is given to you. You have to earn every little thing that you get. And he taught us that just from step one, introducing himself was you have to earn my respect. Yeah, he just, the amount of knowledge that guy had. I mean, no wonder he was such a great player. I mean, I'm talking about the house Ruth built. Or Ruth built that house. No, whatever. He's the one that built Comerica Park and Detroit, made it what it is.
Have you talked to anybody else, any of your other teammates, anybody else from the organization at this point?
Not really, man. I'm reading a little stuff on Twitter on, comments here and there, and it's tough. It really is. I didn't think it would hit me this hard on any of the guys. Obviously, once guys start to go, we get older and fall off, but he meant so much to all of us. This is just a terrible day. But he's in a better place, obviously. He's back to playing again.
That's a good way to put it. Do you have a memory maybe when you first clicked with him? Do you remember him, maybe something you had done on the field or in the clubhouse where he kind of pulled you aside and said, listen here, youngster?
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times that actually happened, but a few times it really resonated with me. One, I was struggling to play with, which is a common occurrence for me back in the day, but that's okay. It's a different story. But he just pulled me aside and he's like, hey, man, like, you got here on your own. He's like, you're a Major League Baseball player. Can you just stop thinking and literally go out there and compete like you've done your entire life? And when you hear that coming from a guy that's been so successful, you kind of sit back and go, what am I doing, man? Like, this is baseball. This is the greatest game on earth. And if Al Kaline, the greatest of all time, is going to sit there and tell you to do that, you're going to do it. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, that's one tidbit of 1,000 different things that he gave us along the way.
I'll get you out of here on this one. What will you tell people in 15 years about Al Kaline?
I'm not sure people 15 years from now will be able to comprehend the type of man that he really was. He's so old school, and I mean that in the highest amount of respect to Mr. Kaline ever. He's a hard-nosed player. He earned everything. He went out there and got it for himself. Players nowadays, they tend to look to YouTube and different things like that for motivation. This was a real man who did it on his own, who competed, and honestly, I'm a better person for even knowing him. So I'm honored to have known him.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it, man. And stay safe and healthy down there, all right?
You too, buddy. All right, man. We'll talk to you later.